Hi, my name is Olivia Rice, and this is my Module 1 introduction video for Cultural Diversity, AEP 880. First thing I want to talk about is my family, my favorite thing to talk about. You can see down the bottom two pictures is my husband, Kirby. We've been married since 2017. We currently reside in Hutchinson, Kansas, but he recently got a job in Hays, Kansas, so we'll actually be moving back there this coming summer. I'm originally from La Crosse, and he's originally from Smith Center, so Hays is a pretty good middle ground for us. We have a 7-year-old son named Brady. He's a second grader, and he will be turning 8 towards the end of January. And then we have about a 4-month-old daughter, Roslyn. She came into the world on September 3rd. A little bit about my career. This is my 5th year in public education, and then my 4th year in an actual classroom. My first year, I worked for this grant program in an elementary school. It was actually in Manhattan, Kansas at Marlette Elementary, and it was when MTSS and all that kind of testing first came out, and so Manhattan was actually under a grant, and I was one of the MTSS coordinators. So I worked in that elementary for about a year, and then my husband and I moved to Hutchinson, and that's where I got to start teaching in a classroom. I teach FACS, started doing what I truly love. So I spent 2 years at Hutchinson Middle School at the 8th grade, and then I am currently at Buhler High School. So it's about a 15-minute drive from Hutch, but I'm still teaching family consumer science, a little bit more specific. I teach culinary courses at the high school, and I've been doing that for 2 years, and I absolutely love it. A little bit about my education. So I graduated from La Crosse High School in 2009, and then I got my bachelor's degree at Kansas State University. I got it in human ecology. And then I got my first master's degree from Fort Hays State last May. So I'm currently working on my second master's. This one is in building leadership. Hopefully we'll be graduating in May of this year also with that. I actually entered the transition to teaching program through Fort Hays State University when I started teaching at Hutchinson. So it's a 2-year program, and then you're able to earn your master's if you take like 4 more courses or whatever it is. So I did that. So my first master's degree was under that transition to teaching program. So this one, I'm able to kind of pick a more direct or specific route. So I decided on building leadership. So some of my family history. So my family is actually kind of boring, to be honest with you. My great grandparents were farmers on both my maternal, paternal, and then my in-law side. And then my paternal grandparents, so my father's parents, were in education. My grandpa was a teacher, and then my grandma was a secretary at an elementary school. My mother's parents, so my maternal grandparents, my grandpa was a postal worker, and then my grandma was a kindergarten teacher. And then my in-laws, their paternal grandparents were farmers. Same with my in-laws. Maternal grandparents were also farmers. My parents are both in education. They were both teachers and then principals, and then my dad is currently a superintendent. And then my in-laws, my mother-in-law, she was in education. She was a teacher, and my father-in-law is a farmer. So pretty simple, a lot of education and farming within my family. Ancestors, so my maiden name is Keeley, which is also my father's name, and they came from Ireland. Woodworth is my mother's maiden name, and they came from Germany. And then Rice, which is my married name, and my father-in-law's name, they came from England. And then Kuhlman, which is my mother-in-law's maiden name, they came from Germany. So a little bit of history on that. And these pictures are of our grandparents, and kind of, back in back when they were in their prime. I chose these pictures because I just thought they were really special, and they were some of the best pictures I can find. They were really clear, but the top corner That is my grandma she's holding those two babies. One of them is my mom. She was a twin. So I thought that picture was kind of special. And then my grandparents on their wedding day, and then just kind of a family portrait. So some special customs and traditions. This kind of goes back to our ancestors. Language, I'm not, but there's a lot of people in my family who are bilingual. They speak German and English. And then foods and cooking, that's really important to us. And so there'll be a lot of German food that we make and we still make to this day. That's true to that tradition. And then farming and the crops that are currently being planted are true to that culture. And then church and those social events, and then just attending the rural schools and that public education is kind of special to our customs, kind of the same that it's always been. So the importance of cultural diversity to me, I believe it builds respect, knowledge, understanding, trust, and inclusion. This is really important when we talk about cultural diversity in education, especially now. I think the most important part is just understanding where people come from, respecting that, and then including them in your own traditions, so we can all kind of unify as one. And then one thing I wanted to talk about was how I represent culture in my classroom. So like I said, I do teach facts and I teach culinary, which is kind of special because I can really tie culture into a lot of different things we do. But I have a specific unit that I teach in Culinary Arts 1, and it's called Foods from Around the World. And my kids absolutely love this unit because we get to study different countries and kind of their traditions and their customs and what kind of food is most popular. And then depending on what time of the year we're doing it, they can complete projects, and then we present on it. And they represent the traditions of that country in a food that we make. So we'll complete labs. And the reason my kids like this is because we'll incorporate different foods that they're unfamiliar with, or they don't know anything about, and then they kind of acquire a taste for it. So it's kind of fun to do that, and kind of see those kids learn outside of their little bubble. And yeah, they really enjoy it. So therefore, I really enjoy it. And then I also teach in the hospitality and tourism pathway, which really allows for us to connect to that different content from different countries and different backgrounds and ethnicities and all sorts of things like that. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to getting to know my classmates.